motivational person. Russell Mack, back at it again. Just got back to Asia, feeling great, feeling fantastic. Finally finally out of the land of the cucked and the miserable. Back in the great land, the East. Anyways, I'm walking around here, and I was kind of in a culture shock, because people are just polite by default. And that kind of shocked me. And also, people live a lot more of they're happy with a more simple life here. On average, of course. On average, I don't want to hear anybody talking about, they're not all that way. They're not all that way. They're not all that way. Yeah, of course not. You can't speak in absolutes. You dumb motherfucker. Anyways, today I'm gonna tell you a story about why America is so miserable. And it's basically because Americans are the most entitled people on the planet. That's basically what it comes down to. And I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna tell you a story on what I'm talking about. But first of all, I'm gonna have my drink because I'm thirsty. So. Anyways, just a preface. Yes, I'm about to talk shit about Americans. No, I don't care. Leave your hate comments. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. Don't give a fuck. Still don't give a fuck. Still don't care. You can leave your hate comments below, down where my dick is, obviously, like always. And let's get into it. But anyways, so my friend and I were coming back from NFT NYC, and we were at LaGuardia Airport, about to fly out back to North Carolina. And as we get there, we're waiting for our flight to come in, and the flight just gets canceled. So we're like, okay, well, what happened? So we check it out online, we see the cancellation message, and of course it's the weather. And bear in mind, this is Frontier, which usually gets a bad rep as an airline in the US. Because of it's a budget airline. They keep their prices low, but their service is not as high as some of these other airlines. That's how they keep their prices low. But anyways, they get a bad reputation. And as we're sitting there and we find out that the flight's canceled, here comes this American chick, this middle-aged, it's the most stereotypical idea of an American woman that you could possibly think of. Here comes this middle-aged white American woman. Here comes this woman just screaming and hollering and crying out loud about how she's never gonna fly Frontier again in her life. Frontier's the worst, and she's gonna get on the phone and fight with them, and all this nonsense. And she's making her outrage public, and her crying public for everybody around her to see. As if everybody around her is supposed to feel pity for her because she missed her flight, or because the flight got canceled. Oh, boo-hoo, oh, wow, whoa, you have to wait a few more hours to go home, or figure something else out. Boo f***ing who? Who really cares? Are you getting bombs dropped on you? Huh? No, you still have a roof over your head, and you're still well fed, well clothed, and you probably have a rich husband who's gonna pay for the new ticket anyways. So shut the hell up, and remember and be grateful for where you are. But that seems to be a problem in the West, because Americans are the most entitled motherfuckers on this planet. I don't care what you say, they are. And yeah, again, don't give a f***. Any Americans out there can leave your hate comments down below. You know where. Anyway, let's keep going. So yeah, she's just bitching and moaning in public about how bad Frontier is, even though all the other flights at that time got canceled too. Imagine that, because of the weather. So what the hell does the airline have to do with this? This isn't an airline problem, you silly hoe. So it's not an airline problem. And nobody wants to hear your outrage. You're not special, you're not funny, you're not cool. Nobody gives a shit about you, Karen. It's Karen, this is why this stereotype came about, the Karen stereotype. Because they all behave this way. They have zero tolerance for any kind of inconvenience. Now, let's contrast this to Vietnam. Vietnam, you walk around here, you see people walking around the hot sun with full jackets on so they won't get sunburned. Full jackets on, the rice farmer hat, the triangular rice farmer hat, and a mask on. Walking around the hot sun, trying to hustle, trying to sell lottery tickets, trying to sell some kind of street food, trying to sell some kind of knickknacks to you. Just to make ends meet, to make a living for their family. And they're still more pleasant to talk to than these Karens at the LaGuardia airport. They still have a smile on their face. They're still grateful for more things in their life than you are, Karen. And yes, if you're watching this, that's what you are. Because nobody cares about your outrage. Keep it to yourself. Like she was trying to get sympathy from the people around her. Nobody's giving you sympathy, you silly hoe. You're just being annoying. But anyways, that's basically the moral of the story. One of the main reasons Americans are so miserable is because they're some of the most entitled motherfuckers on this planet. And they're not grateful for anything. They're very spoiled, they're not grateful. They don't have any kind of belief in anything other than money. What do Americans actually believe in? Sorry, let me repeat that. What do Americans actually believe in these days? Anybody? Can somebody answer that question? What do they genuinely believe in? Christianity's cucked. It's been hijacked by the woke mob. But anyways, we're going to get into that on a different video. What do they actually believe in besides money? Somebody answer that for me.